Alright, yeah, and welcome to Gwent. So the developers at CD Projekt Red were very kind and allowed me into their closed beta. So I'm allowed to produce some quality content for you guys. Well, at least I hope it's going to be quality. Anyway, I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So this is our first video. I'm not going to do an introduction per se into Gwent. If that's something you would like to see me do, if you'd like a tutorial on how to play Gwent, an introduction, you know, a walkthrough of all of the game and its mechanics and what makes it tick, be sure to let me know in the comments section below, because I'm really curious to see how many of you are adept Gwent players, how many of you have never played before but are quite curious, that kind of thing. So if you are very interested in the game, then let me know. If you're slightly interested in the game, let me know. And if you want me to teach you how to play, also let me know, and I'll produce a video on that. So we're going to go into a deck list where I'll explain all of the cards as they go along. If you already know how to play the game and you just want to watch me play the matches, then there'll be a timestamp right there. And otherwise, let's get into the deck builder, shall we? I'll see you in there. Okay, so this is our deck. It's very well named as Weather. So what it essentially does is create a lot of weather effects, and we benefit from it, whereas our opponent really does not. So we play lots of cards like Biting Frost, which spawns frost on the front row. And as you can see, a lot of our, if you look to the right, a lot of our Wild Hunt Riders are immune to frost, whereas our opponent's units will not be. So every single one of our units is immune to the weather that we're going to be creating. So we are not going to have any kind of debuff to our cards, whereas our opponent, they'll be having their cards set to 1, and then we can punish them with things like our Wild Hunt Riders that remove a strength and get bonuses for it. So our leader is Eredin. This is the card that stays with you every single game, for those who don't know. So every single game we have this guy, we can play him whenever we want on any round. Only once per match. The entire match, we can only play him once. Eredin is fairly bog standard. He's immune to frost, which benefits us, and he has the Wild Hunt bonus as well, which will come in handy. And he's just a 10 strength creature as well. He's not the optimal leader for this deck. There is another one that has a weather effect. I can't remember its name, but there is another leader that is much better suited for this. So if you do get him, then be sure to add him to this deck. But this is the only one that I have for the monsters at the moment, so this is the one we're going to play with. So let's have a look at the deck, shall we? We've got Wild Hunt Riders on the front row. They have the trait Wild Hunt. So Wild Hunt is essentially like a tribe in Magic terms. They are immune to frost, and when you play one of them, you play all Wild Hunt Riders from your deck. So it thins out our deck and increases our odds of finding better cards. It also triggers Nithral 3 times. So Nithral is another Wild Hunt unit. He is immune to frost and removes 2 strength from a random opposing non-gold unit whenever a Wild Hunt unit appears on your side. So our entire front row, other than Regis, is Wild Hunt. So every single one of these has the power to deal 3 damage, well, 2 damage in these cases for every single one of them, and 3 for the Wild Hunt Warriors, and they get an extra bonus for being awesome as well. So he's really good as a nice little bit of a board wipe, a lot of advantage. And if you imagine, when we've been playing a lot of weather effects as well, a lot of our opposing units will be 1 strength thanks to the debuff from our Biting Frosts and our Impenetrable Fogs, and also our Torrential Rain, which is in the Ragnar Rooke. So Nithral will essentially remove them from the field every single time. And our Wild Hunt Warriors are also immune to frost, 5 strength. They get to remove 1 strength from an opposing non-gold unit and gain 2 strength if that unit is destroyed. So yet again, a lot of our opposing units will be 1 strength, so we'll allow these guys to come in as 7s and are immune to the frost. So we'll be able to maintain that strength no matter what. We then have Regis. So Regis is a newcomer. I opened him in the keg pack opening video. So he's a new addition. I should mention as well, before I even opened the packs, I was winning with this deck about 80% of the time. So hopefully these two here, the Ragnar Rooke and the Regis, are the only cards I've actually added into the deck. So it's not really even that much of a change, and I paid I think £13 in total into this game. But even before I even put any money in, this deck was really doing quite well. And after a few grinds, I got a few kegs, and I built up this deck, and I've managed to get 80%. So the game isn't very pay to win in the slightest, to be honest. Especially in the casual play where we're only rank 6 playing against a lot of beginners anyway. So yeah, when removed from play, Regis turns into the higher vampire. So the higher vampire is this 8 strength creature. It does get debuff from frost, but it does allow us in the future as well to... the fact that he's gold means that the turn that he comes down, he's not actually affected by frost. Gold cards are not affected by any kind of weather. So the turn he comes down, he's not going to be affected. In the second round, though, it could debuff us slightly, but we get an 8 strength creature nonetheless to start off the round with. Because the faction ability for monsters is that at the end of every round, you get to keep one creature at random. So if we keep Nithral, for example, and Regis is on the board, Regis gets removed from the battlefield. So on the next round, we get an 8 strength creature to come out and help us out on the round after. So we could potentially get a lot of value out of him. But yeah, that's essentially why he's here. We then have Foglets. Foglets are an absolute MVP of this deck. Although not the game-winning cards in the slightest. Our weather essentially is the game-winning card. So Foglets are immune to fog, and you get to play them from your deck or graveyard whenever a fog is spawned. So whenever your opponent plays fog, or whenever we play fog, we get to get every single Foglet in our deck back onto the battlefield. So if our opponents remove them, we play fog again, we get them back. The downside is, though, you get to lose them whenever they are moved outside of the fog or the fog is removed. So they instantly become zeros. This is one of the downsides to the deck. It's not much you can really do about it except for not play them. But if these get picked as your faction ability at the end of the round, the fog disappears, they instantly become 0, and you get no value out of it, which is another reason why Regis is in here, so that if that happens on the off chance, then at least we get some value out of our ability, and kind of pseudo buffers our faction ability. The main card for the fog side of the deck, though, is Ancient Foglet. Immune to fog, 6 strength, gains 1 strength at the start of your turn if on a row affected by fog. So every single turn that fog is on the row, and these guys are available, we gain 1 strength. So our opponent has to do some very tricky maths, because every single turn that goes by, we get an extra point. So the longer the game goes, the better it is for us. And we've got 3 of these for that exact reason, because we have a lot of fog effects. Speaking of weather effects, we've got Ragnar Rooke. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I don't play much Witcher, so I've not heard this word being used, and I'm also from Yorkshire, so half of these words are going to get butchered, unfortunately. This is a special card, and it is a weather creating card. It allows us to spawn frost, fog, and rain, so it turns the entire board into a weather nightmare for our opponent. So it creates frost, which doesn't do anything to our board on the front row, but debuffs our opponent's board. Creates fog on the back row, on the middle row, which gets our Foglets back and starts buffing up our Ancient Foglets, and creates rain on the siege row, which yet again doesn't do anything to us, but we might as well be putting rain on this back row, because we're not really using it, and we're not getting debuff for it either. So this spawns all 3 effects, or at least I think it does. I haven't used it yet, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Next, we've got Alzur's Thunder, though. Special ability, we've got 2 of these. Remove 7 strength from a non-gold unit. So if we played our Foglet and we're against monsters, then we get to play Alzur's Thunder and get rid of their Foglet so that they can't benefit from the fog that we'll be generating. It's also really good just to essentially remove 7 strength from our opponent. If they're playing on the siege row, for example, we only have 1 card that creates rain. So we want to be trying to use a lot of removal spells and a lot of mass damage on the back row to counteract the fact that we're not really using much rain, because we don't have the space to use rain effects, which is why Ragnar Rooke is really good, because it actually is all 3 in a nutshell. So it's really good for that. And next we've got Biting Frost. Biting Frost speaks for itself. We spawn Frost on the front row. It returns all strength of all non-gold units that don't have immunity to Frost to 1, which makes our Wild Hunt Warriors really good. Makes perfect targets for them. We then have Impenetrable Fog, as I mentioned, spawns foglets for us, also turns everything that's not immune to fog on the ranged row to a 1 as well, which is awesome. We then have Manticore Venom. This is here for the monster matchups, because as you may notice, that removing 4 strength from all instances of a non-gold unit on its side seems really good against us, and it's because it is. So 4 strength against all of our Wild Hunt Riders, that's 9 power you've just got off the board with a Manticore Venom. It's also the same for the foglets as well. We use it if we're against a mirror match and we play a fog, they put their foglets down. We Manticore Venom them off the board if we want to, that kind of thing. We have Thunderbolt Potion. Special potion adds 4 strength to all instances of a non-gold unit. So that's another thing that we benefit from. As you can see, we have a lot of ways of getting multiple of the same card out at the same time. We've got 3 Ancient Foglets, 3 Foglets, 3 Wild Hunt Riders, and 3 Wild Hunt Warriors. So Thunderbolt Potion has a lot of targets for us. We can add up to 12 strength, essentially. The second ability is good for Witches, but we don't actually have any Witches in our deck, so it's not going to be that useful. Finally, we have Lacerates. Special ability, remove 3 strength from all non-gold units on a row. Really good for when we've frosted our opponent's front board or fogged our opponent's middle board. We get to lacerate and wipe them all off the board. So even if they have clear skies to get rid of our weather effects, we've just essentially lacerated everything off the board. So we've done our damage already. We've got 2 copies of them. Yet again, it's for the mirror matches to remove 3 strength from the front row. Monsters have a breedable mechanic, so they like to make a lot of 1 strength creatures and stuff like that, and make thousands of them. Lacerate's just our way of punishing our opponent for that kind of thing. But it also, depending on how wide our opponent's gone on a specific row, we can really get a lot of value out of Lacerate. So that's going to be the deck, guys. On to the matches, and we'll see how well we do. Alright, I'll see you there.
Uncrate! Ested esa crisa.
Alright, we're in. We're against Clan on Crate, which means we're pretty well set up. Ooh, Ragnar Rooke is in our hand as well. So first thing we want to do, we've got Impenetrable Fog, which means we do not want any foglets. And we do not want any more copies of Wild Hunt Rider either. Other than that, we've got plenty of weather to disrupt them. Plenty of weather cards to put them back again on the next round. Plus, if they clear skies, we can put it back again. Removal and plenty of ways to go wide. So I think this seems pretty good. So we'll finish redrawing. Let's go. I kind of like our matchup. Let's see which archetype he's going for though. Because Dimeridian Bomb based decks can be very upsetting. Dimeridian Bomb essentially means it resets the values to their base strength, which is really good in Clan on Crate when they're doing weakness stuff. Because you get to put them back to what their original was. So even with our Frost as well, they go back from their 1s to whatever they were supposed to be in. So our opponent's on the play. We're leading off straight away. Straight away with the Clan on Crate Warriors. Interesting. I think, in which case, we don't have Nithral in our hands, so I don't think using the Wild Hunt Riders is a bad thing, because we could potentially draw into them on a future round as well, which we don't want. We don't want more than 1 in our hand at any time. So I'll play the Wild Hunt Rider, we'll get the other 2 out of our deck, and we'll never see them again, which is pretty good. It's thinning out of our deck and making it a lot better. We're on 9 strength, our opponent's on 10, so they have a point advantage on us. We'll see if they want to win the round. We kind of want to win the first and second rounds, mainly. Ooh. Removing 2 strength from 3 units. So he's taking our Wild Hunt Riders down to 1 each. By the looks of it here. Yeah, that sucks a bit. That sucks quite a fair amount. So he's up to 14. So we've always got to consider when we're playing, do we want to pass? We currently have card advantage, but we're not exactly in a position right now where passing does us any favours, because we're just going to keep a 1 strength Wild Hunt Rider, essentially. Whereas I could Thunderbolt Potion and give them all 5 instead. Which would put us up to 15, which puts us a point ahead, forcing our opponent to either pass and give us the round, or play an extra card. So I think that's what we're going to do here. Scorch also really hurts, but there's not really much we can do about that, to be honest, other than not play a card. Yeah, these Wild Hunt Riders are always going to be the same. What we can do if we want to continue playing the round, though, is we can just straight up play an Ancient Foglet that puts us out of Scorch range. Because Scorch only takes the... In fact, actually, Scorch will take their Clan on Crate Warriors as well. So we'd only lose 5 strength in total if you count in what they lose in the process. So we do have a buffer from the thing. Warcry. Okay. So that just doubled the strength of all weakened units. I'm quite happy to try and win this round now, because he's used that. But what our Frost does is essentially puts them back down to 1 no matter what. So I think we can win. So I think if we Frost here... Yeah. If we Frost here, then he goes down 18 points. We don't go down any. And if we have to play something more, then we've got Wild Hunt Warrior to take one of them down. And his buffs aren't really that good as well, because doubled 1, essentially. So we're going to put Frost down. We have Frost in our Ragnar Rooke anyway for future matches. Sweet card. Spawn Frost, Fog and Rain. So we're still winning the round. The reason we want to win this round more than our opponent is their ability means that all of their units get more buffs the longer the round's gone on, so they become stronger the longer the game goes. Whereas we are more of a debuff your units kind of thing. So we kind of counteract theirs just that little bit. I do like this matchup for that exact reason. So we'll see. Opponent's got 20 seconds. He's wondering whether or not he should pass. I'm kind of hoping he passes here. We won't have card advantage, but we will have the round up from them. And it will force us to go first as well. Our opponent is on 5 seconds. He's passing. Okay. So we win the round, and our faction ability means we're going to keep a Wild Hunt Rider around. So we've got 5 extra strength for the next round going into it. So we're all in to win this round, hopefully. So we've got our 5 strength. We draw 2 cards for this round. Oh, no. That's not too bad. Alright, well, a Foglet sucks because we can just play Fog to get our Foglets, essentially. So I'm tempted to just play the Foglet here just to force our opponent to make a more meaningful play. And then in future we could just Impenetrable Fog. Or I could even just play the Ancient Foglet, go for the Impenetrable Fog, and then play a Foglet on a future turn. I'm not sure, actually. I think we'll go with the Ancient Foglet. Let's progress our board. We're trying to win here, so the sooner we get the Foglets going, getting their strength boosted, the better I think it'll be. Plus, what we can do is stagger their strength gain as well.
Some overseas plundering in springtime.
With our Fog. The clan to research skirmishers, when resurrected, gain 4 base strength. We can take that down to 1 because it does not have immunity from frost, which means Ragnar Rooke is going to be awesome. So we're going to go Impenetrable Fog here. We get the 2 Foglets out of our deck. That's why we wish we hadn't have drawn that Foglet, because we'd have got that one there as well. And we'd have had a better card, probably. So next turn we just play the Foglet, I guess. And we've got a nice little debuff here from Scorch. If he wants to Scorch now to take out a Foglet... Ooh, a Lacerate. That's annoying. Well, that still works out anyway. So he did 3 damage to all of our creatures there. We can even Ragnar Rooke to get them back later. I'm just going to play a Foglet. It's a throwaway card. And we're still winning the round. He has to win this round. So we've got that advantage. We have that knowing that he can't pass on a losing board state. So as long as we keep the pressure on to suit our situation, the better. But we don't want to go too heavy into anything. For that reason, maybe I want to Alzo's Thunder away the Viking, the light longship, the Viking longship. Well, it kind of is. It'll send it down to 1. It's immune to rain, so our weather effects aren't going to work on it. And it's an extra 7 points, which, yet again, forces our opponent to keep going with stuff. Are there better targets, though? That's the thing. Wild Hunt Warrior is really good for this guy once we go for our Frost with our Ragnar Rooke. I think I am going to knock this guy down to a 1. Puts him down to 7 strength, us up to 12. We're still on the winning board state. And our Ancient Foglet's still getting progressively bigger.
Hail at your heart!
Ooh, not what I wanted to see there. Raging Berserker is a shapeshifter, so he transforms into a Raging Bear if he gets weakened. And weakening is a thing that happens when we put Frost down, so we can't really play Ragnar Rooke without him flipping into this 6 strength bear here that is immune to Frost as well. So it gains extra bonuses as well depending on the round it comes in. That's a problem. I think we'll just play Eridan here. It's a nice safe play. It's 10 strength on the board. Keeps us going. Doesn't do anything spectacular except for force our opponent to keep playing cards, which they have to do. We just have a really nice removal suite here. Next turn, probably going to Ancient Foglet, because then we'll have our staggering back online. Essentially, this will be at 6 power by the time we get to play... 7 power, sorry. Scorch. Alright. Okay, so Scorch for 10 isn't bad for our opponent. We're going to go with a Foglet, though. We've staggered all of our strength nicely for the exact reason of Scorch. Goes with an Alzor's Thunder, though. We're still winning. We have weather effects for days. We can, with the Ragnar Rooke as well, we'll debuff these guys. He'll get a buff from the bear, but this guy will go down to 1, and we'll get all of our Foglets back as well. So, how do we want to do this? I think maybe Alzor's Thunder on this Raging Berserker here, so that it's not weakened from our Frost ability that we're going to be using very soon. I think that's what we want to do. At this point, we're very committed to trying to win this round.
Coming to get ya.
Ah, he's got another one. Oh, that's annoying. Okay. Manticore Venom on it again, I guess, to kill it off. Manticore Venom's really good for the monster matchups where they've got a lot of copies of the same card and breedable, essentially. So it's not really suited to this matchup except for a removal suite where they've got maybe 2 of these Raging Berserkers, for example. And I really want to hold off on the weather effects for as long as possible so that they get as much effect and less chance of him using Clear Skies. So I'm actually going to Manticore Venom that off the board. And next turn we decide whether we want to Wild Hunt Warrior first or we want to put Weather down first. If we put Weather down first, the Wild Hunt Warrior has a better chance of going up to a 7 strength. But our opponent could Clear Skies. I think they're going to do it anyway because they do have the card advantage here. Just have to see what they've got in hand. And he plays, hopefully not another Raging Berserker, because that would be really upsetting. 20 seconds to click that
Modern
card.
Freyr is patient, but she brooks no insult.
Please, Clan on Crate Warrior. Do it. Beautiful, beautiful. If he'd have gone for the Raging Berserker, then our Frost would be bad, whereas this Clan on Crate Warrior right here is going to go down to 1 strength whenever we wanted to. We're actually going to Wild Hunt Warrior this long ship at the back. So he goes up to a 7. Our final act in this game is going to be to return every single one of our opponent's units to 1 strength. We get our Foglets back, so we get +4 on our strength.
What
So
is
we're going
it?
up to 27. Actually, we even get an extra point from our Ancient Foglet. So right here, the final card, Ragnar Rooke. Frost fog, and rain. Our opponent has to make up 23 points here, which is just not possible. So I think we've just got the game here. Yep, passes. We pass because we have no cards in hand. We take the second round. GG. Beautiful. Oh, I love this game so much. I'm going to send the good game. Hopefully our opponent sends it to us as well. It's one of the things I really don't like about this game. Is the only way you get any benefit from winning a game is if your opponent sends a good game. Or if you hit one of these milestones, which we're going to hit. So I've won 6 rounds today. The next tier is 12. For winning 6 rounds, we get 100 ore, which is essentially another keg, which is pretty cool. We'll open that at the end of the episode, I guess. And we get experience. So our opponent did not send us a good game. That's a very good sign that our opponent is very salty about losing that match, because we don't benefit. But I sent them a good game, because I always do, because I don't like the idea of your opponent controlling the reward that you get. Seems a bit weird to me. But anyway, we'll go on to the next round.
Any last words? Ested esa crisa.
Okay, we're going against a mirror match here. So we've got all of our weather, which is good. And we've got a handful of foglets. So the foglets need to go. We have a single Wild Hunt Rider, which is good. And a Thunderbolt Potion. We could probably do better than a Thunderbolt Potion here. I kind of like everything else. We've got all the weather we need. We've got a bit of removal. We've got a lot of board wipes against Breedable, perhaps. And their Wild Hunt Riders as well. We can wipe their board clean from their foglets and stuff like that. I kind of want to get rid of Thunderbolt Potion to draw it into a future round, but yeah. The chances of us hitting a Wild Hunt Rider or a foglet are really annoying. So we're actually going to go with it. I'm going to take this hand. Our opponent is on the play, which is good for us. Leads off immediately with Eredin. That's absolutely fine. Let's lead off with our Wild Hunt Riders. So he's 10 strength to our 9 strength. And our opponent's passing. Huh. If we Alza's Thunder, we go down a card in advantage, which is what our opponent wants. But he only keeps a 3 strength creature, and we keep a 3 strength creature. So I think it's worth it, kind of. The other alternative is playing our own Eredin and hoping that Eredin is the picked card at the end of the round. Is that better than Alza's Thunder, though? I want to keep everything else, that's all. And he's immune to frost, so putting Impenetrable Frost down, Biting Frost, isn't going to work. I think we're just going to Alza's Thunder it. Puts us in a winning position for the round. We pass. Take the round. We both keep a 3 strength creature. So he's a card up on us, which is not ideal. And we're also on the play because we won the round. We draw a Foglet, which is the worst possible thing to draw, and an Ancient Foglet, which is not too bad. So, let's go with an Ancient Foglet. Let's get our Fog game going here. Having Eredin on 3 as well makes these Lacerates really good for his front row, because if he does play his Wild Hunt Riders... Ooh, he has a Foglet in his hand as well. So, we're expecting the Fog to get all of his Foglets out of his deck, but that's what we want anyway, so... that's what we're going to do. If he had an Ancient Foglet, then he'd be able to get the strength before us off of that. But he doesn't. So there's his Foglets. It's bad for now, but we have removal for them. Ooh. Okay. Well, we have a throwaway card. A Foglet. And he gets rid of our Ancient Foglet with a Wyvern. Remove 4 strength from an opposing non-gold unit. Well, for that reason... He's on 9 cards, we're on 8. If we're going for the 3rd round, we want to make sure that we have the card advantage by the end of it. But I also think that we could potentially take this round. Potentially. We have a lot of board wipes. I'm going to go with the Ancient Foglet. It's going to give me some time to think, and while we do think about it, it's getting stronger. And it also puts us a point ahead. So that's pretty good. We don't want to be so far ahead that we get blown out by a Scorch, but we don't want to be behind either so that our opponent can exploit that to force us to play more cards to take the third round. So, "28 seconds. He's very indecisive about the card he wants to play. There's two different ones that you can choose from, apparently.
Any last words?
And he just goes with a Geralt there, so it's not too bad. I think what we could do here is use our Wild Hunt Warrior on the Wyvern, destroys it, and gets us to a 7 point right there. I think that's probably the best thing we can do. Our Thunderbolt Potion's best for when we've got either all of our Wild Hunt Riders or all of our Foglets. And since we don't have any of them, but we do have Ragnar Rooke to get them back, I don't want to wipe his board just in case that is a plan we want to go for. So,
Comes for you.
the Warrior here, to take down the Wyvern, to go up to 7 strength seems like the best thing to do here.
Ho ho, I sense trouble.
And he's got himself a Ciri, which is only good if he loses the round, which he can't do, so it's just a 6 strength creature for him as far as he's concerned. He's doing a really good job of getting a lot of gold cards on the front row, because our Frost is just not going to do anything good for us here. And in fact, I'm tempted to just use it to throw it away, to force our opponent to play another card out that might be of more value to us. Yeah, let's do it. Frost the board, does absolutely nothing. And he gets himself another Wyvern that takes him down to 1. We can lacerate his backboard for 7 here, which takes him down to 21, us up to 17. Actually, if we're potentially in a bad state here. What I could do is Ragnar Rooke, Thunderbolt Potion, and then lacerate his backboard, because we don't want him to get his Foglets back. I'm just thinking how we take this game, because I'm not sure we have the strength to do it. We only draw 1 card next. We've got 10 power that we can have, plus whatever we keep, hopefully the Ancient Foglet. He has a great chance of getting... Ah, dear. Yeah, let's pass. Let's go for the third round here. That might be a mistake, but in this current situation, I don't feel like with his card advantage we can actually take this round. And we keep a Foglet, he keeps a Foglet, so everything dies. We don't keep anything. We draw an Impenetrable Fog. Ah, that's really bad. That was really bad. Well, we're going to play it. Our opponent played the Wild Hunt Riders, which is a good lacerate target, but we're not going to be doing that until the very end. So hopefully he puts a lot more onto the board. We're just going to Foglet here. Use Fogs to get our Foglets. Ragnar Rooke is essentially a dead card here. Unless he wipes our Foglets off the board. Which is why we're going to hold on to it just in case. We really want to wipe his Foglets off the board though, so we've got to really plan out the order in which we use our cards. Because if we just play this, he gets his Foglets back after we remove them. Okay. Spawns Fog, which pumps up all of our units. These guys are in a really good lacerate option here, because we get 3, 6, 9 points with a single lacerate on this part of the board here. That might be what we do. Our option is essentially just to use our Thunderbolt potion on these foglets, get 12 extra points plus our Aerodane, which is 24 in total, and just hope that's enough with our removal to take this game. We're going to go Aerodane on the front. Immune to frost, so all of our weather shenanigans are not going to hurt him. And neither are his, if he has any. Lacerates our backboard, and this is what we wanted, essentially. Because now we're going to lacerate his board. Gets rid of his foglets. We play our fog, gets his foglets back, and then we lacerate again to get them off. Thunderbolt potion to pump ours. I think that's the plan. Otherwise, we lacerate his front. Yeah, let's Ragnar Rooke now. Get our foglets back. Pumps his up. His will go down to 1s though with our lacerate. So we're still getting 9 out of it no matter what, regardless of the fact that they stick around. He has his other Wild Hunt Rider. She's really good because it's still lacerate range. If he has a war chant of any kind, I can't remember what the name of it is. It doubles the strength of all units on a specific row. Then he could just win this game. Which is why I'm kind of tempted to lacerate this board right now, because he stands to get a lot of power out of it. But I think just as a way to hold off, potentially, we're going to lacerate the back row. See what he plays. Hopefully he plays more onto the front row, so we get essentially more strength out of it. White Frost. Okay. It's another weather effect. Pumps our foglets up. So he's done him no favours, essentially. I think we'll Thunderbolt potion here. Scorch doesn't hurt us. A lacerate doesn't take out our foglets.
There is no escape.
Lovely. That's an extra 3 strength we can take off of him with the lacerate here. And he's got 1 card left. So we're taking off 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 points. So he's going to have a 16 strength card in his hand in order to pull out this game. 15 and he draws, and we both get a decent win out of it. We both draw, essentially. And he forfeits. GG. Alright. Opponent forfeited. We're going to send a good game. He sent a good game to us as well. We get 5 scraps, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, he tried to force out card disadvantage, but we ended up having a lot of weather effects and a lot of ways to remove his creatures in the next round, which I don't think he anticipated, really. Let's have a look at our daily rewards. And I've hit a tier. What do I get? Let's have a gander. 15 more ore. Lovely. And level up. Come on. Yeah, level up. Alright, what do I get for a level up? More XP. We get 50 ore. Okay. So we have 175 ore. Not enough to open up 2 packs, but enough to open up a single pack here. Let's go to the shop. Buy a keg. And let's see what we get. Yes, please. Hopefully we get some epics. I'm very excited to hopefully get something like that. So, Priestess of Freya, not bad. Allows us to resurrect a bronze non-permanent death unit, which essentially means we can't resurrect these guys and more stuff. First Light is essentially clear skies to get rid of weather effects. We've got plenty of them, that's the throwaway. Meradrome, spawn either a mutagen or a spores effect. So that gives 4 strength to a creature or takes 4 strength from a creature, I believe. So it's not bad. We've got a few of them. And finally, a Clan on Crate Raider. This is actually a bit of a throwaway card, but hopefully, when we press continue, we will get an epic card. And we do. Ooh. Clan on Crate. Why would I ever want more than one? That is our leader bonus, essentially. So we actually don't get a special one, but we get Doo-Doo. Set the strength of that to an opposing non-gold unit. Interesting. And Shania. Resurrect a non-gold, non-permadeath unit and convert it to gold until removed from the battlefield or the round ends. Oh, that's a tough one. I think Shania is pretty good. And I've got plans for you. So, decent resurrection as opposed to semi-conditional matching of an opponent's unit. I think we're going to go with Shanai. So that's going to be the pack. That's also going to be the end of the episode, guys. So if you did enjoy the matches, then be sure to leave a like. It helps me out a great deal. Lets me know you're enjoying the series. Hopefully Gwent becomes a permanent thing on this channel if you guys are enjoying it enough, because I'm absolutely loving this game. So even if you don't enjoy it, I'm going to put a few out anyway, because I'm really enjoying the game. So yeah, be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it also, and subscribe for more Gwent in the future. It's going to be a weekly series, definitely, alongside our magic stuff and other stuff. And if you're not sure what that is, then stay for the end card. See the rest of it, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.